Hi there, I'm Kim Sedgwick.
And I'm Amy Sedgwick, and we're the co-founders of Red Tent Sisters. Today we're answering a question that was submitted to Ask the Sisters, which is it safe to use coconut oil as a lubricant?
I love this question because we typically tell people not to use oils as a lubricant, especially if they're going to be used internally in the vagina. So the reason being that they don't actually flush out of the body particularly well, so they can actually stay in there and harbor bacteria. And then our other concern is that they're not compatible with latex products. So they're not compatible with latex condoms or latex dental dams. However, when it comes to coconut oil, it actually has some antifungal properties. So it actually is safe for internal use. And we've had tons of people tell us that it's like their absolute favorite lubricant to use. However, we are still concerned about the fact that they haven't done any specific studies looking at coconut oil and how it interacts with latex products. So we want to err on the side of a caution, assume it's the same as other oils, and say don't use those two together. The other thing to keep in mind is when you're buying coconut oil is they're not all made the same. So a lot of coconut oils have other ingredients in them. So the first thing you want to do is make sure it's just got the coconut. You also want to make sure that it's unrefined and that it's virgin. Seems a little funny when you're talking about using something for sex.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just really important to make sure you're getting a good quality coconut oil if it's going to be used internally. The other little tip that we have is some people like coconut oil because it's relatively inexpensive in comparison to other high quality personal lubricants. And some people buy it in like the big batches. But the thing is, you have it in a container where you have to put your hand in there. And if you're going to be using it for a long time and constantly putting your hand in there, possibly with cross-contamination and bacteria and all that jazz is not great. So our tip is just to take it from that big container, put it into something smaller that you keep by your bedside.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And I would also just add that if you're buying it in a really big batch like that, it's probably going to come in a plastic container, which if you want to be even extra cautious about parabens and like plastics leaking in, might not be ideal. And also, if you can afford it, the organic would be even better.
Yes, it would be. Another consideration we want to just point out is that it is not necessarily sperm friendly. So I know you've had experience with one of your clients using coconut oil and finding out that was actually causing problems with fertility.
Yeah, so I advise her not to use it just because it is very thick. You know, as we know, it is solid at room temperature, basically. So if you think about that in your body and what that's going to do for sperm motility, it's not great. Right, so definitely don't use it if you are trying to conceive. I would not encourage that.
A couple other little considerations. So one is people can have allergies to coconut in the same way they can have allergies to any number of ingredients. So we suggest just putting a little bit on your hand and, you know, the partner that you're going to be with on their hand as well, just to make sure that if you're having an allergic reaction, you find out then and not later on when it's in a more sensitive part of your body.
Yes,
the other thing to be doing patch tests on would be your toys. So there's some discrepancy in terms of whether it's going to break down the material of your sex toys. So, you know, before you ruin your whole toy, put just a little bit maybe on an area like the base or somewhere where it doesn't matter as much if it's going to degrade the material.
And this is another, I think, key area you often talk about getting toys that are non-porous. So again, if the toy is porous, it's going to be hard to get the coconut oil in and you might trap bacteria in there. So another good reason why you should stick with non-porous toys.
For sure. And then just a last little thing is oil, so it is going to stain. So just be careful if you're using it on sheets or clothing or anything else that you're concerned about. Great. Yeah, so those are some of the considerations if you're going to use coconut oil as a lubricant. If you want more tips, specifically on looking at lubricants, we have a whole blog post on our website, which is redtentsisters.com. You can also find lots of information, of course, on our YouTube channel here and on our social media. We're at Red Tent Sisters on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
That's right.
Thanks for joining us. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.